Diet Dr. Thunder. And hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, our favorite diet sodas, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom. Joining me once again, after a brief hiatus, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
Go down the wrong pipe?
No, I almost squirted it out.
Oh, okay.
That's what she said.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I know. Even when we just have a week off, it feels like a month.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that things were all screwy leading up to, the last time we recorded when that was like the first normal Monday we were doing for in a while.
Yeah, it's been like everything's been out of phase.
Yeah.
It's been weird.
But it's good. We've got a schedule hashed out for the next 2 months.
We do.
And everything should be normalizing now.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, how much time you got, buddy? But so what are we talking about today?
Apparently, we're talking about some Marvel nonsense today.
And just for the record, whose idea was it to do this subject?
It may or may not have been my idea because this month marks the 15th anniversary of the original Iron Man.
That's right.
So I was like, hey, it's a milestone. And honestly, it's the one Marvel movie that I'm not like sickened by.
Yeah.
So
and it's the OG. It's the one that kicked off this whole fucking cinematic universe.
Yeah. So I was like, we should do it.
All right.
Just to damn everybody. It's like, oh, damn, hates Marvel. All right, well, fuck you. We're doing a Marvel one then. So here it is. We're doing it today.
Yeah. Enjoy it, because this might be the only one we ever do on the show, depending.
Maybe.
So,
maybe.
Yeah.
We'll
Anyway,
see. There might be another good one. Who knows?
Yeah. Some people would say there's a lot of good Marvel movies out there.
I mean, some people.
Yeah.
Some.
What do I know? All right. Before we get into that, though, we got a ton of business to get to in the interim. Should we start with some Patreon?
You start with the Patreon.
All right. Well, if you are enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast and help make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week. Case in point, Dave's new microphone that he's been enjoying for a few weeks now.
Yes.
Very, very nice. And Jason still has one of the old mics, so we need to upgrade this. This is next on the agenda.
He's got the sad mic. I've got the new hotness.
That's right. So, but this is where your funds are going to upgrade the podcast. Yep. So, we'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons. Oh, fuck, she mixed up the order again. Carly Vickers, Catherine Rennick, Dragon Buddy, David Schmuck, Frederick Martin, Steve Long, Shotgun Mark, Chantal from Pop My Culture. Oh, she added that, I guess. Nicholas Schaefer, Wally Frogmore, Janine Vickers, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Nick from Sweet Studios, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Frank Kalevich, Kristen Roscom, Don Solsky, Lord Helmet Fire, Ivo G, and our latest patron.
What?
The Orange and Fetch Show.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, our good friends Tom and Matt, yes. The Jensen brothers over on the Orange and Fetch Show are now patron supporters as well.
Excellent.
So thank you, gentlemen.
Why, thank you.
And go listen to the Orange and Fetch Show.
Yes, we'll talk about them later.
Indeed, we will. So if you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Sidebar Cantina.
It's over there.
Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this. Back to you, Dave. Do you need the bug zapper?
No. I was looking for the original Orange and Fett artwork.
Oh, yeah. It's still here in the studio.
Yeah.
And you can also, can you see the flag? Hold on, let me pull up to YouTube. Okay, you can see Michigan Vader in the back corner behind Dave, and there is the Bronco flag.
There it is.
Displayed
right
on his chest.
Which, by the by, I found out that my best friend through high school, his oldest is graduating high school this year, which is fucking terrifying. And she's going to Boise State.
Oh, no shit.
Which is like, seems so random.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What are they known for? Like, what Do they have like a specialty for like degree programs?
I'll be honest with you, I do not know. I know that I mean, my buddy Jeff, he's in the pharmacy industry in marketing, and her mom was a school teacher, like special needs school teacher. So, and I honestly, I haven't seen the kids since. I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what they're into these days. So yeah, but that's where she's going. So
Awesome.
You know what? It's probably because she just likes blue turf. It's got to be it. It's got to be it. And you know what? Not that Bronco Fett or Matt. No, maybe Matt does, but it's actually a fun town to party in. Like I've been to Boise a couple times.
Well, yeah, it's college town, so
it's a fun town to party in.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, what you got for? Is it Red 5 headlines?
Well, it's sidebar headlines.
Sidebar headlines.
Sidebar headlines.
I'll get it right one of these days.
Yeah, I'll just change it in notes right now. I'm going to type in sidebar headlines because we. Do you know I actually look at the notes after the fact sometimes? Like we keep all of our show notes.
Right.
Like we have this repository of show notes.
Oh, yeah. Like, all 300 episodes almost, or fucking, we have the notes in our Google Drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So every once in a while, I'll look back for something like to see if we talked about it just in the show notes. So
I have not done that, but that would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's
fun. It's pretty funny. That's why I try and make sure that some stuff is accurate, but just a reminder, mark your calendars for the Sidebar Family Celebration.
It's a celebration, bitches.
It's a celebration being held Saturday, August 19th. Hey, we were just talking about this.
That's right.
That's right. that's a drop that we need. That's right. Just so Chappelle is saying it and not us almost getting in trouble.
Right.
So far, all 3 Escape Bros and LG are in. Sweet.
Oh, nice.
RSVP Luna Girl at the Sidebar Cantina on Instagram or at Sidebar Cantina on Twitter and let us know if you're interested. Stay tuned for details. I can tell you we have a venue.
Yep.
And a general idea of a vision. A vision of doing some lime streaming.
Lime streaming.
I'm just do some lime streaming.
We'll just eat limes on stream.
Well, it's you know what? It was Brady with the Coronas. It made me think of the limes.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's like
yes.
lime streaming. So we're going to be lime streaming all day.
A lot of Coronas were consumed the last time.
Yes,
they were
there was. There was a lot. We had
that Corona box in here for like a year.
we did. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of lime streaming and probably from noon until whenever, and it'll be a good time. And I believe we're going to get a sabacc tournament in.
Yes,
I think is the plan.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna teach everybody sabacc who doesn't know how to play it, and then we're gonna have a sabacc tournament.
yeah, it's going to be.
Bob Healy's gonna bring his sabacc cards and his really nice sabacc chip set.
Yep. Awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. So August 19th. Yeah. So stay tuned for more details.
Yes, we will do it. Oh fuck.
You're on the wrong page.
Do it.
There you go. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. So it's been a couple weeks since we've recorded, and some big Star Wars news bits have come out since the last time we recorded. So I felt we kind of needed to at least talk about these a little bit.
Yeah.
And one of them, kind of a big one, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson, the actor.
Yeah.
Who plays the big bad guy in Ahsoka.
So, yeah.
The Force-using bad guy, I should say.
So I had to go, admittedly, I was like, okay, who's Ray Stevenson? So I had to go back and look and see, oh, fuck, I recognize him from the trailer. And, yeah, what the fuck? Sad face.
Yeah.
Now, Ahsoka was guaranteed for so many seasons, or like,
they haven't said. There's been no word about how many seasons Ahsoka's going to be outside of the first one, like if they're going to do more or not. And also, Ray Stevenson did the voice of Gar Saxon in Clone Wars also. So, but yeah, he's played some Star Wars roles, and obviously they've already filmed all of Ahsoka, so that's done. But the problem is, obviously, we've got like a potential Carrie Fisher situation on our hands now, which you know, if his character survives season 1,
there better not be a Carrie Fisher situation going on.
Right.
Because we saw what happened the last time.
Yeah, we don't want to see him floating through space.
Right. If there's a Mary Poppins fucking dark Jedi Mary Poppins thing happening,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, and there's been no word from Lucasfilm either about, outside of, obviously grieving for the loss and offering condolences. There's been no talk of like, if they're going to have to make changes based on, his character.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure they probably can't right now because they don't want to spoil anything in Ahsoka.
True.
If he does die or does live for all that.
So I guess the real question is, what did he die from? Like, did they have it? Have they said?
I saw something a couple days after that just said he quickly fell ill and
Really?
and passed. But I mean, if you look at him, he looks like he's the epitome of high blood pressure and probably.
Hey, look, I can relate to that.
I'm just saying, you look at people and you can just tell in their face that they've probably got some heart problems on the cusp, and at any moment they could probably just.
I don't like the implications of what you're saying.
I'm just saying, man. I can tell.
I take medication.
Well, and again, we don't know, or it could be out there and I just haven't seen it. But yeah, he's 58 years old, so he's not that old.
Right. It's like 10 years behind where I'm at.
Yeah, I know, and I'd love to think that I'll still be alive at 58 and beyond.
Yeah, please.
So
And
I'm sure Disney was counting on that.
that's
too.
right at my retirement. Like, that's right at my GS retirement. So that's right. I'm hoping at 58 I'll be like, all right, cool. I'm not working anymore at all. That would be. That's the glory days. Like, let's go.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I know. We could have a whole big existential conversation about this.
I don't want to.
But ultimately, yeah, we lost a very important member of the Star Wars universe last week. So rest in peace, sir, and don't fuck up our canon.
Yeah, Lucasfilm, don't fuck up our canon.
Right.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, it could be.
He didn't write it.
No, I mean, it could be his fault that he died.
Well, I mean, perhaps, but
Again, we don't.
I mean,
know.
what if he had a family history of heart disease?
Yeah,
You don't know.
which sucks because that's a real thing, man. Like like families that have the men all die at like 55.
No shit.
Yeah. So
I am aware.
yeah. Anyway,
Move on. God damn it, Jason.
something else that died since the last time we record, the Galactic Star Cruiser. They announced is permanently closing in September.
Yes.
Which it's like, motherfucker, because we were talking about going for next year for the 4th, and it was like, I had just gotten back from that, and we had the episode where we talked about it.
Yep.
And
Like, literally just gotten back.
Yeah.
It was fresh off the presses. Like, the podcast was posted.
yeah,
And then what, 2 days later?
something like
It
that.
got the story posted.
Yeah, and it's like, motherfucker. So in a rush, like I talked to Bob Healy, and we were talking about trying to book another voyage before it closed in September, but they've completely booked. at
I'll
this
bet.
point. Yeah.
I'll bet. I mean, because they probably were just everyone's trying to get that last bid in. So, all right, I'm going to say something controversial.
All right. That's good. That's what we do on the show.
Yeah.
So I welcome it.
I am not of the opinion. So I don't buy into the narrative that it was too expensive.
Okay.
So, I mean, you had went, I didn't go, but based on the experience that you talked about and what I've read and everything else, like the level of immersion that was taking place.
Yeah.
And with all the characters and the actors that are like in play for the whole thing and what you have to do and what requires for a reset and the food and everything else, like you are talking about a incredibly huge and immersive experience.
Yes.
Making that cheaper is not going to have had any, it's not going to have saved it. if anything, it's only going to like you're either going to make the experience less of an experience, or you're going to put the further in the hole.
Yeah.
Disney can't go any further in the hole. They just can't.
Well, yeah, and that's why you got Bob Iger like making cuts everywhere right now.
Yeah, the Disney's at a place where they were at some point in the what I want to say it was the early 80s. Yeah, they were losing money in certain theme parks because they took risks in certain theme parks, and they're like, okay, we're going to get into this and this, and they kind of got away from their primary model.
Yeah.
And overexpanded, and then they had to pedal back. And now I think they're kind of doing the same thing where, yeah, this was amazing, like conceptually, but to actually keep it in play and keep it making money, it had to have been at a price point, I'm sure, that it was like it's either going to make $1 or it's going to constantly lose money.
Right, because I mean, when you go, you can tell why it costs how much it costs. Like you see it all around you, and it's like, okay, I get it. But I mean, that can be prohibitive.
Yeah.
For
no,
people.
I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
But I also I don't want, if I'm going, so I've been to Disney enough times where I don't want Disney to fucking cheapen the product.
Right.
Right.
Because that's one thing that they pride themselves on is like the amount of detail and work that goes into all of their rides and everything else, all their experiences.
If I want to go and get a cheap product, I'll go to fucking Universal or go to
Six Flags.
to Six Flags or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Disney should be the gold standard of what you're going to get a level of immersion.
Yep.
That is going to put you into the experience, especially if you have younger children. Like, okay, you're getting this experience. If Disney decides that they're going to cheapen their product in some way, I mean, shit, they did it with certain amusement park rides, right? They made like a carnival, and it looked like a fucking, like a carnival stop at some fucking town in the middle of Iowa. Like it didn't look like a Disney park. It had none of the same rhythm, and it failed.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't do that with the Disney product. That's not how they are branded.
Sure. Yeah.
And if you're going to continue to maintain that level, then you can't cheapen the brand. So I as a stockholder, I'm with this. Like either it's going to continue to lose money, or you fucking, all right, it's not making money. We got to cut it.
Yeah. Cut your losses.
Yeah. Or maybe they can, they'd have to re-envision it to a point where it's going to be there, where you can look at it per day and say, okay, this is how much it's going to cost, but you're not going to get the level of immersion. You're just not. It's going to turn into the fucking Polynesian or the fucking Grand Floridian or something like that, which, oh, by the way, if you've ever stayed in one of those, they're fucking $1,200 a day, damn near. I mean, they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
If you're staying on a Disney property. It's not like it's any cheaper. It just so happens that this immersion into this thing, you're in a story. You're like basically in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's why they did it that way.
Yep.
You want to stay in a fucking Star Wars themed hotel that just happens to have cool shit on the walls, and you go down to breakfast and there's characters walking around, they can do that, but you're not going to get the same experience. You're just not.
Yeah.
And that's probably what's going to end up happening.
Right. And I mean, honestly, too, I don't think they thought it through very well either, because there's so many things, and we could pick it apart, but this isn't really the episode to talk about.
Fuck them. I honestly, I've just been irritated at I've been agitated by it for, I've let it go for a few days because it's not so fresh in my mind. But now that we're talking about it again, it's just, I don't make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Like you don't make the same product cheaper just to make more people be able to go to it. It's either going to be the experience and this is what it costs, or you don't. And if I can't afford it, then I'm not going.
Right.
I'm sorry. It sucks. But I look at it and go like, okay, it's not for me. It's just like the staying at the Grand Floridian or one of those places. Like those price points are no way.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to save for 5 years to make that like this is going to be the vacation of the decade.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go and spend all that money. You know, that's it. That's what you save for. That's what you go do. But otherwise, yeah, no, I'm fucking. That's okay. I can't afford that. I'm moving on. As Star Wars fans, we've gotten to this point where everything should be fucking like it's falling into that fucking same narrative where everything should be the way we fucking want it and accessible. I'm like, no, absolutely fucking not. It sounds like to me, having both of you in here, even before you left, having Bob talk about it, and then when you guys got back and you were talking about it, and I read a bunch of shit about it. Look, everything I heard sounds like every dollar of that was going into the production and facilities and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes sense why it's so expensive. It really does. And as a stockholder, I can understand why you either you eliminate that because it's not making money, or it makes money. Like that's it.
Yeah.
It's a 1 or a 0. Like I'm not going to make that cheaper. Like I'm just going to say, well, I'm going to make that. I'm going to take $1,000 off of that tag, so I can lose $1,000 per day per person on that.
And of course, that means they're going to have to cut a lot of shit out of it. They're going to have to, make it a cheaper experience, literally.
I think at that point you just make it a fucking hotel, and because that should be the expectation.
And I almost wonder, maybe that should be the solution, because the property where it is, it's like right behind Galaxy's Edge. So like imagine if they did turn that, like demolish what's there and then build like a fucking big ass Star Wars themed hotel. You don't have to have all of the actors and everything. You just have it Star Wars themed.
Yeah.
And then it can fucking directly connect to Galaxy's Edge, and
that's probably what they should have done in the first place.
And you can charge your $1,200 a night.
Yeah, that's probably what they should have done in the first place.
Right. And I think that's what the expectation really was when they first announced that they were doing, the Galaxy's Edge and a Star Wars hotel.
Well, we've talked about it. I mean, you can go back in episodes and I think we talked specifically about it, that we just thought it was going to be like a stay.
Yeah.
That had some like immersive qualities on it, but not like this full fucking, hey, you're part of the goddamn story thing where you're like, all right, we're going down to a bar, or you're playing sabacc and
Which again, I love that.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to. Nobody's going to that and going like, well, I was really disappointed with how, the waiter didn't remember my fucking drink order from 15 minutes ago. No, because they remembered. They remembered everything about you.
Yeah.
Like that was part of it, right? That is a throwback too, because you don't get those experiences anymore.
Yeah.
Like you used to be able to go to a hotel. Like we're used to Hampton Inns and shit like that, where you go to a hotel and everything's nameless and
you're a number.
Everything is fucking cheapened these days. Some things should be fucking amazing, and amazing costs fucking money.
Yeah.
Keep making amazing, and if I really want to get there, then I will do whatever I have to fucking do to get there.
Yep.
But I want amazing to be there. I don't want Disney to be losing money and ultimately have to close it anyway. And I miss out on amazing, and I just get meh, because, well, we had amazing, but we couldn't support it. So you're going to do what you have to do here.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Yep. And I think we'll have a more in-depth discussion about that and what they did wrong and how they could have, salvaged this whole situation. But this is not a Star Wars episode, so we should probably move on, because
it is not a Star Wars episode.
Because I actually have some Star Wars stuff to talk about in my week too.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Speaking of which, should we talk about our weeks?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I will get us started. First of all, we didn't talk about it last. Well, I think we might have briefly talked about it. I've been waiting for the fucking tickets for The Flash to go on sale.
Yes.
So for some reason, this is the first time I've ever seen this happen. They loaded, and when I say they, I mean like all of the companies that sell the tickets, either directly through Regal or Fandango. They loaded all of the fucking show times for The Flash, like on Thursday of last week, the week before, whatever. whenever, the week before they went on sale. And they were fucking loaded on the website for the entire weekend, but you couldn't buy them. Like you could click on the time, start to go through the process, but then when you like go to like pick your seats, it says, "Oh, tickets aren't on sale at this time."
You.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, it's all loaded. It means they're gonna go on sale like any hour here, right? So that whole fucking weekend, I'm refreshing, still nothing. Get to Monday, refreshing. What the fuck? And then finally, my coworker Googled it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, they go on sale tomorrow at noon." I'm like, "Fuck!" And this is so Tuesday at noon of last week. So I'm like, "God damn it!" I've been like hovering around the computer for a whole fucking weekend, wasting all this time, like constantly trying to refresh because I wanted tickets. Because we've talked about like I'm really anxious to see the Flash. So finally, they went on sale at noon on Tuesday. I bought the tickets. I bought enough tickets because you're going to go. Apparently, Bob Healy's also going to go with us.
Okay.
And my 3 kids. So it's going to be a big thing. We're going to see it at the Regal RPX 40X Theater, I should say.
Right. But it's not in...
It's not in 3D, but it's the 4DX Theater with the moving seats and all that. So...
All right. And I'm going to see it with Kathy, too, because she wants to see it. So I'll probably end up seeing it twice before we do it on the show.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, if I'd known she wanted to go, I would have tried to get an extra seat.
Yeah.
There might still be stuff available.
Well, we're on it like Saturday at like noon, right?
Oh, you already... Yeah.
Yeah, so I think she's working.
Oh, okay.
But we'll still go. I'll just take her.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it would be fun to go on a date anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse to take her out.
Indeed. But yeah, so we got tickets. So good time.
Yeah, it's the draw of the Batman.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, for me anyway, and I think for her too.
Yeah, because I mean that's the Batman we grew up with.
Yeah.
So good times. All right.
The real Batman.
Yes. Now we have to talk about
the sacred Jedi.
So I haven't had a new one to present in a while. So
true.
So I made sure that I had one for this week, and we'll start with that.
Oh boy.
So I was like looking at all of the, because when you go to GameStop, they now have like all those GameStop exclusive ones that are like mostly ones from the games.
Right.
The hold on, what are they called? Gaming greats.
Okay.
So
which actually makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's a good way to give GameStop some exclusives, and they can. People actually have a reason to go to a GameStop these days.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only reason I go anymore.
Yeah.
And I was starting to look at the history of some, because I know that like I have pretty much all the current ones that I want, but then I went into the past and I'm like, fuck, there was a trooper from a previous one that I didn't have. So I picked him up today. And this is the Stormtrooper Commander from The Force Unleashed, which I love that fucking game.
Yeah.
This guy right there.
He's awesome.
He's a little beat up. Probably got beat up by Starkiller at some point in the game, but yeah,
God, that was such a fun game.
Yeah, another trooper that I didn't have before.
Dude, I'll tell you. Not to belabor the Star Wars thing, but Star Wars for Jedi Survivor, I think that's the closest thing we got to Force Unleashed.
Yeah,
is Survivor, because you're able to do so much stuff. Similar, like especially with fucking up stormtroopers, just royal.
Yeah,
and it's just so awesome. I'm having so much fun with that game right now.
One of my favorite things to do in Force Unleashed too was just to grab shit and just fucking fling it at like waves of troopers.
Oh yeah, just pick them up, fucking, and use them. Operation Human Shield.
Yeah,
like that's oh god, it's so much fun.
So I picked up this one. Then I was in Walmart a couple days ago.
All right,
I was buying some groceries. I needed almond milk and some other stuff for my soups, and I always walk by the Black Series aisle, or the Star Wars toy aisle every time I'm in Walmart, just in case. And
I do the same thing for Legos.
Yeah, and it's never good. Like they always have like the bargain bin fucking figures up. Like obviously they get cases of Black Series figures, but the good ones are gone, and you never see the better ones. So it's always shit. Well, this last time I walked through and they got me, because they have the vintage series Black Series figures that are behind the old school cases, right?
Yeah.
So they had a whole bunch of those this time, and I'm normally not really that big on those. I like the traditional Black Series packaging, but it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And they got me with the nostalgia with this. So,
yeah, fuckers.
So,
Holy shit. Like a big ass Walmart bag you just grabbed.
well, we'll start with this. We'll start with the Scout Trooper and Speeder bike.
Oh, I remember when this came out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because, and the reason why they got me was because everything I'm about to show you, like I had all of these fucking toys.
Oh yeah, I love the fucking speeder bike.
Yeah, when these came out 40 years ago, because that's when, we talked about it.
Did you get two so we could open one?
Unfortunately, no. They only had one, actually. They only had one of most of these figures that I'm about to show you.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is in that classic Return of the Jedi packaging.
Yes.
But it is still a 6-inch Black Series style figure.
Yes. It has a Scout Trooper included. Oh, it's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Oh,
So just throw that there
God.
for now. So, all right. Then they had some more stuff. They had Leia in her jungle gear.
Right.
The gear she was wearing.
Jungle Fever layer.
When she stole the scout bike with Luke.
Jungle gear or forest gear?
Either way. What's the difference? Jungle, forest?
She's covering up her hickeys with this outfit.
Oh, I wonder if she's got her coke nail in that.
Oh, let's see. That would be an amazing level of detail.
Yeah.
I would just like shit my pants.
And again, the detail on these, they've got the Kenner logo, the old Kenner logo on these fucking these archive
Well, I
figures.
think they did like the one I brought for you today.
The Vader one?
Yeah, is the 40th anniversary from Empire, I think.
Right.
Or no, it's 40th of
New Hope.
New Hope.
Okay.
And they did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So to go along with that, we've also got Han Solo in his jungle gear or forest gear, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
This is Han, I'm too good for this role solo.
Yep. And then, of course, we've got It's a Dynamite Taste. Lando Calrissian in his guard disguise from Jabba's palace.
So, Skiff Guard. Garde de Skiff.
Yep.
So, it's really funny. This is one of those characters.
And I had that fucking toy from back in the day, too.
Me too. And this dude hung around. He would come up in like I'd be cleaning my room or something years later, and he would turn up with the helmet still on.
Yeah,
like every other figure, the helmet was long gone. The fucking Leia, the Bosch Leia, helmet gone.
Which I have down there.
Yeah, gone. But yeah, he would turn the 3 3/4 figure with fucking the helmet would just be on him for some reason.
And then, of course, you can't have a Return of the Jedi toy line without an Ewok. So we got Wicket.
Nice. That's a lot of packaging for just Warwick Davis in a fucking.
Yep. So looking at the look at the back, because they got the checklist of everything that comes from the series.
His eyes blinking.
Oh god. The only thing I'm missing is the Boba Fett, but honestly, I've got like 15 Boba Fetts, so I don't need the 40th anniversary one. Jeez. But I didn't have any of these other figures.
You know damn well that you need the Boba Fett.
Maybe
to finish this set.
Maybe.
Cuz that's like the Boba Fett that I have.
Yeah.
In the OG paint job.
Mhm. So, maybe I'll look for it, but it was gone. When I saw these. I'm thinking, because I went early. I went to Walmart at like 8 a.m. that day. So I'm thinking they probably just opened that fucking case and put it out.
And whoever was out on Reddit that was putting it out there, to like, oh shit, this stuff hit the streets.
And somebody bought the Boba Fett. But I got everything else. And it's just like, and I wouldn't have cared about these, but it's because it's that Return of the Jedi, and it's the retro packaging, and I had every single one of these fucking figures. I had the fucking speeder bike that you push the button on the back, and it would blow up.
Yeah, and fucking Rick, who's in the, I don't know if I saw him in the chat. Saw Helmet Fire. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Helmet Fire.
So now, though, lesson learned about this is I have to keep checking Walmart. Because you never know when you're going to find a fucking.
It's like that with everywhere.
nice
though.
haul.
I mean, Target, any of those places. Target's a real good one for fucking Legos.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, and Target's one of those places for Legos where you get Legos there and it can count towards your VIP membership. Like you get points for your VIP membership.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's actually pretty cool.
yeah.
Which sidebar? It might have been one of the Fett brothers had posted something about Target's losing money right now.
Oh, yeah. It's more of the gay shit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Speaking of gay shit, are you done with your week?
Yeah, I think so.
So, Kathy and I, for the reason we originally weren't going to do a show this week, was we went down to Rehoboth this week.
What is that? That's.
Rehoboth
It
Beach?
sounds like
It's
you're
in-
just making up words.
It's in Delaware.
Okay.
It's one of the beaches in Delaware. It's just it's south of Lewes and north of Dewey Beach. It's apparently one of the gay beach capitals of the fucking world.
Oh.
Yeah, like I think it's there, then it's like, or it's there, then P Town, then I don't know, whatever. My sister-in-law's fiance had actually gave us the rundown yesterday.
So whenever you say something like the gay beach, my brain just goes back to that episode of Chappelle's Show where they had the gay versions of everything.
Yeah.
The gay landscaper. he's dancing in front of the lawnmower, you know, the
I'm not, you know what? I'm not gonna Google search it, but it's irrelevant because we had what's nice about going down there is unlike I'm a Jersey Shore guy, right? Not Jersey Shore like the fucking TV show. I mean like the shore in New Jersey.
yes.
But all those if you want to stay down there, it's all like privately owned hotels. Like there's no commercial stuff unless you're in Atlantic City or you want to stay like off the island.
Okay.
So it's all mom and pop stuff, which is great, which is awesome for them. But we had, Hilton points coming out our ears, and we just wanted to, get away for a couple nights. So, and we wanted to be near the beach. So this worked out. It's, not a crazy drive. And so we scheduled this a while ago, and we went down there, and, we went Thursday night, which apparently this Memorial Day was like one of the heavier, like they're saying it's going to be the most trafficked since like 2019.
Oh.
Right. One of the heaviest travel days. So we left Thursday after work and still got hit in traffic because driving through Delaware, you get hit, you're going to get in traffic anyway.
Yeah.
But so we get down there. I lost my train of thought. Oh no, we get down there, get in a hotel, everything's cool. And, the next day just had the whole day to just we found some breakfast and wandered around. Great little town. What I will say, and this is the best part about going to a place like that, is there's a lot of, if it's a gay community and it's filled with old people, there's no fucking kids. There's very few kids. There's,
No riffraff.
It's clean.
Mm-hmm.
There's no crime. Like there's no fucking loud cars. Like there's no like fucking, bottom scraping, bass thumping, fucking bullshit cars driving up and down the street. Like
Probably a lot of Priuses.
Not really. A lot of Mercedes and Lexuses and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of like that. But it was fucking immaculate. Got down there, ate at a couple of really nice restaurants. Ate at this restaurant that was like had a little ocean overlook and could fucking see everything. And we had a great waiter. It was a great day. Just had a whole day where no fucking itinerary. Just it was fucking great. And I all the places, like I said, I'm a shore guy. Going down to the beach. There's always, especially on a crazy weekend like this one, you're going to have like just kids and cars and just, it's just going to feel, you're just going to feel like, oh my God, there's so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Was not that bad down there. It just wasn't just wasn't built for that. Like, it just had a different vibe to it. And I was like, oh man, how do you know you're old? how do you know you're old when it's like you know what? Hey, there's a bunch of dudes in banana hammocks walking by, whatever. You dudes have fun. You do your thing. Guess what? You're not fucking you're not blaring music, and you don't have a bunch of kids running around. You go have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
Dragon Buddy says the one thing that's been on my mind this whole time. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Yes. With the fucking Delaware backdrop. Yeah, so it was great. It was a great fucking overnight, and then we drove back the next day. And yeah, highly recommend. But yeah, this is how you know you're old.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a nice little spot. And it was just so quiet, and it was so peaceful. And one of the busiest fucking weekends of the year. And it wasn't fucking absolute fucking chaos, which I know it would have been like in Wildwood or fucking Sea Isle or anywhere else. Like I knew in Jersey it was fucking absolute insanity.
Yeah, the first real holiday weekend like this, when it's warm out, and oh yeah, those places were probably fucking madhouses.
Yeah, and down there it was busy. Don't get me wrong, it was busy, but it wasn't like I had no issues finding some place to park, and it had parking meters, like so it had the meters you could do from your phone.
Yeah.
Thing, just like you do in a city.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't crazy. You know, I didn't mind paying a couple of ducats to fucking have a decent parking spot. But like I said, there's no crime. You know, it was just so nice, and just it was just nice.
Good.
So anyway, got home from that, and I put in the notes the therapeutic power of building.
Mm-hmm.
So came home, and I've had a handful of projects that, it's warm out now. So now get working on projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even remember my Florida room in the back of the house. Like I have one large like area of screen that kind of is on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kathy wanted to have lattice like on the over that whole window area. So it's 99 inches across, right? Because when Dave rebuilt the entire Florida room, it's not square. It's 99 inches across the top and 97 inches across the bottom. I don't know how it happened. It just fucking happened. And yes, it drives me insane. So put the lattice. It got lattice and put some lattice on it, and I ended up building like actual frame out of pallet wood. So I had this pallet wood, and I basically milled out a bunch of pallet wood to, 2.5 inch slats.
Okay.
And then, milled that out, and then a piece of pallet wood's only 45 inches long. Right? So I had to like put little inserts in and piece it together, and then fucking put it together. So it was like this whole building project, and it came out decent.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with it.
Oh, good.
The beauty of the pallet wood, like the texture of it kind of matched the texture of the wall. I was happy with it. There is something just so gratifying about just building something, whether it's building or just creating or whatever.
Sure.
That's, I think, why I have this, thing with Legos, which Carly, I haven't worked on the Legos yet, by the way. I haven't been inside to do stuff. That from the new ones that she got. But it's something that's just so gratifying about just building, and creating something. And I like, after I put that together, I'm like, man, I need more shit to build. But it's just exhausting. Like I did that, took care of all that, and then I fucking power washed this morning, which again was exhausting. Like, why is this so fucking tiring? It's like, oh, because you're an old man. Like you can only do so many dad things in one fucking day. But like today was the atypical fucking dad out there with my flip flops and my fucking my cargo shorts, and I'm enjoying the shit out of power washing. Like, Jesus Christ, it's perpetuating the stereotype so bad. But yeah, it's just something so gratifying. And then watching stuff on YouTube, like Adam Savage tested or something like that. And then watching him, he built a fucking, he built a tool out of, he built a clamp, right? Like a jeweler's clamp, but he built it out of a piece of, it was like, you know, mic stands, how they have like a cast iron piece at the bottom.
Yeah.
He took that piece and basically milled out the fucking tool for it, you know, made a wood handle on a lathe, with a piece of, it was an old railing, and he made this fucking tool like with the fucking adjustments and everything else and put the spring and everything. That's fucking amazing.
Huh.
It's like, oh my God, I want so badly to have those fucking tools to be able to do that, to have a milling machine and all that stuff. It's crazy expensive, but it's just something to be said. Fucking build something. Yeah. And last but not least, to segue, I'm going to make an attempt to segue into our main topic.
Oh,
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm intrigued.
So after I exhausted myself fucking power washing the deck and, you know, putting all the furniture back and all this other shit, I was looking at YouTube, and there's I follow this guy, Smarter Everyday is the name of the YouTube channel, right? His name is Destin. He's an engineer. And I actually, I think I support him on Patreon. I can't remember, but anyway, yeah. So the whole story with the trash pandas thing is if you supported him on Patreon and he sent you a ball, and he has videos of basically shooting a baseball at, you know, this basically breaking a sound barrier.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually pretty epic.
Wow.
Building the cannon to do that.
And it actually worked?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So he had the Trash Pandas actually sponsor it. So he sent me a baseball.
Sweet.
So yeah, he had a video where he was interviewing he was an IBM contractor on the Saturn V rocket, right? And they were there at the the Space Center, Johnson Space Center, and they have this huge Saturn V. Like they have the one they used for ground testing.
Yeah,
they have it laid out, you know, in stages, and they went from the F1 all the way up to the tip.
Yeah.
And he's just describing just what went into, like, this is what the F1, all the different engineering aspects of it, like, and went into like this crazy amount of detail.
Damn.
And if you're at all like an Apollo nerd, like I am, dude, it was like, holy shit. Like I wanted to write like notes about some of this shit, like especially like engineering wise, talking about like how the F1 and how it's just like how it worked, like the shit that they had to do, like from an engineering standpoint.
Oh God.
Like,
yeah.
For example, did you know that instead of like so that you had 5 engines, right? On 5 main engines, the 4 outer ones were all gimbaled, right? So that you can control the rocket as it was climbing. The center one wasn't. Those gimbals, the actuators, were hydraulically controlled, but it didn't have hydraulic fluid. It actually used kerosene from the fuel within the tank. It used that kerosene as actuator fluid to save weight. So it didn't have like extra pumps or anything for hydraulic fluid. It actually used kerosene. Like,
that's
how
interesting.
the fuck how do you get to a place engineering wise? You're like, okay, we need to make this system less complex. And so we're going to use, like, well, where do we get fluid? Well, we got a big fucking tower full of it. All right, let's try that. Like,
wow.
Holy shit. We're going to, like, there's going to be parts of Iron Man that I think are are interesting to talk about just from a technology standpoint.
Sure.
And the Saturn V rocket, until I see something similar about like a SpaceX rocket or something like that, the Saturn V rocket in its time, I think is probably the greatest feat of human engineering ever.
Yeah.
Right. The rocket itself, the capsule, the lunar lander, like the whole smash, like going to the moon and back.
Yeah.
That is human beings' greatest engineering achievement ever.
I'd say so.
The millions upon millions of moving parts that had to happen to get that rocket in the air. And the Saturn V never had any major mechanical issues. Like, think all the Redstone rockets that fucking blew up on the pad and everything else. Never had those issues with the Saturn V. So it was the perfect rocket to make the perfect trip, with those humans.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to get humans to the moon and back.
Yeah. So I'll put when I post the audio, I'm going to put a link to this dude's video. I recommend, he has a shorter version that he edited, but he also posted like the full length video of his interview with this guy. And it's just them walking up and down the rocket. And he's this IBM engineer. He actually designed the nav package.
Oh yeah.
On the rocket.
Nice.
Like up in the stage 3 area, the nav ring.
Mm-hmm.
So he did all the instrumentation that fucking controlled all the gimbaling and everything else.
Oh man.
And so he knew everything about it. He knew all the stuff. And it's just, God, if you're a space nerd and you're just into it, it's in like an hour and 47 minutes of just like, oh my God, it's going to a depth that you're just like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's raw and unedited. So like all the little, like, he's like, do you really want me to go this deep? And he's like, yes. He's like, okay, let's just start getting into the real science of it. So it was awesome. The guy, it was an amazing feat of engineering, much like the Iron Man suit would be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It would be.
If such a thing were to happen.
Yes. So that being said, you're all done with your week?
Yes, I am done with my week.
All right.
Yes.
Well, let's talk some Iron Man, shall we?
Just there it is. That's the guy. Let's.
All right. So Iron Man, released May of 2008.
Yes.
So yeah, it's
15 years ago.
Yeah, which is crazy to think how much has happened in that time frame. I mean, because this was May of 2008. Fun fact, you and I think, had just met at this point.
Yeah, right around that time.
Yeah, because I was away at radio operator school when this came out. Did not see it then though, but we'll get into that. But it was directed by our man Jon Favreau,
Right.
Famous for The Mandalorian now. But yeah, he did some other big stuff leading up to this. So, or up to The Mandalorian, I should say.
Yeah.
Iron Man probably being his biggest achievement.
Yeah, what did he do before this?
See, it's funny because I remember him as Monica's boyfriend from Friends who was obsessed with being a UFC fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, and a couple other like bit parts in movies. Had no idea he was like a writer or director.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean he's been working in Hollywood since at least the 90s. Again, as an actor from what I can tell. But yeah, directed Iron Man and went in with a budget of $140 million, ended up making almost $600 million. So
that's $140 million 2008 dollars, which in 2008,
that's a good point. Yeah.
2008 is right when the fucking bubble burst of the housing market
that's
and
right.
everything else. So it's like the economy was going through a thing.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
it was an interesting time.
Indeed. And, maybe that might be one of the reasons why Marvel eventually sold to Disney, because Disney didn't buy Marvel until after this movie had come out, like over a year after this movie came out. Disney bought Marvel because if you watch this, you see this was distributed by Paramount Pictures. So this was a Paramount movie.
Okay.
At the time, and I think the Hulk, which was the next MCU movie, was Universal. And then it took a while after they bought it out to just put it all under the Disney umbrella. And in fact, I think the deal that they have with Universal is still why they have yet to release another Hulk movie in the last, almost 15 years. But I digress. So we always do like a history with this, with these things when we talk about them. So for me, not much of a history really to speak of. I was never a Marvel guy. Like, I always liked DC back when I collected comics back in high school. And when it came to like movies and TV shows, I always liked the DC characters, your Superman, your Batman, and all of that. I was aware of the Marvel stuff, and I had bought a few Marvel comics here and there, but they were never really favorites of mine. I did enjoy the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man trilogy that came out starting in 2000, the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Okay, yeah.
And but otherwise, like, no real love for Marvel or anything else. So when Iron Man was coming out, I'm like, it seems kind of neat, but again, I was not a Marvel guy. I did not watch the original Iron Man until probably 2011, as the first Avengers movie was starting to build some hype. And I'm like, okay, so they're doing this whole superhero, like, shared universe, which we didn't really have at the time up to that point, because everything else was independent. Like, one hero in their own independent movies, no crossover with anybody else, even though they could have, like, because all the DC movies were under Warner Brothers, they could have made Batman and Superman crossovers, but they chose not to for some reason. They wanted them to be their own independent things. And finally,
It's because it went so well when they fucking put them together.
well, yeah, that's a discussion for another time. So anyway, I ended up not seeing this until I was getting ready to watch the Avengers movie, and I watched the whole like Phase 1 Marvel movies like back to back to back, and I obviously enjoyed it, and we'll talk about it later. But this morning, when I rewatched the movie, was the first time I'd watched it since that day in 2011.
Huh. Okay.
So today was only the second time I've ever watched this movie start to finish.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And like I said, I was always a DC fan. I had very little knowledge of Iron Man, the character, besides the fact that he was a Marvel character in an iron suit. Didn't know shit about Tony Stark, anything about his history or the supporting characters, none of that.
Right.
Now I feel like I know quite a bit, but still, yeah, Iron Man was not a thing for me. And that's pretty much it.
I was not a comic guy either.
Mm-hmm.
So, an Iron Man, even the few comics that I was into, Iron Man wasn't one of them.
Right.
Like, I didn't go into like, oh wow, I needed to see this, because I felt like, honestly, the portrayal of most comic stuff never actually, like, it never showed up on the screen quite right.
Yeah.
It always felt like it was missing the mark from what the comic was. Like, it just wasn't telling the same story.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't exactly pinpoint when the first time I saw this was. I'm almost positive it was on DVD.
On the jet, probably.
No, I think we had actually rented it, and so Jeff could see it.
Oh, okay.
We saw it at home. And I'm almost positive that was the first time. I've definitely seen it on the jet.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually seen this probably a half dozen times.
Oh, okay.
And I watched it before I left on the trip, before I left on her weekend.
Yeah.
I watched it again. So it's, like I said, it's, for me, like, we'll talk about like dislikes, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's, the irony is in 2008, when this was coming out and what it kind of represented, this should have been Dave getting into Marvel.
Right.
Like, if this was this should have been like, oh wow, I'm into this. Like, I should have been into the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I'm not. So obviously something went wrong. But I kind of went into it with no expectations, and then enjoyed this storytelling.
Yes.
I enjoyed the story and the telling, and then obviously didn't follow through.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
And that's the weird thing about these superhero movies too is, the first one is always don't worry about it, is always the origin story, right? And for some reason, a lot of these superhero movies, if they do like reboots, they decide they're going to keep showing the origin story anyway. Like, how many times have we seen a new Spider-Man get bit by a radioactive spider, or how many times have we seen Bruce Wayne's dad die?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the Batman thing anymore, right? It's like how different writers are telling the origin story.
Sure. But I think this one, honestly, this is probably the best superhero origin story that I've seen.
Well, all right, so is it, am I jumping the gun by asking how true is it to what the comic?
I couldn't tell you, honestly. Like,
right.
we'd have to get a comic expert in here because, I have no clue. The only thing that I know about Iron Man is I learned from the movies, we'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like, if this Tony Stark that's represented in what's in the movies and this Iron Man, then okay, cool. That's how I know Iron Man, but I don't know any.
From what I've heard from comic people, Tony Stark was kind of an asshole, the way they portrayed him, kind of a rich, smug asshole type, but also super smart. So yeah, I think casting wise and character wise, they pretty much nailed him as far as I've heard from the people who are the comic people. And let's talk about that real quick. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in this. I mean, we've seen it now. Like, the evidence is clear after all of these movies that he's been in and everything else. That clearly he was the perfect fit for that role.
Yeah,
played it flawlessly. But even not thinking about any of the sequels or anything else that came after this, just this one movie as a whole, he was fucking great.
Yeah. And look, as somebody who didn't get into the rest of it, right? Just this movie by itself, him in that role, I thought he was fucking great.
Yeah.
I couldn't see anybody else doing it the same way that he did it.
No, definitely
right?
not.
You couldn't put. I don't know who you could have put in that role that was going to have the same panache, right, and be able to pull it off in the same way.
Yeah,
and I don't know why. And what's funny too is, like, I need to look it up, but Robert Downey Jr., he had been in his resurgence, right?
Well, yeah, and this was another time that he had kind of come back from adversity because he dealt with addiction, all kinds of legal problems. How many times have we seen him in a fucking courtroom, facing charges for some kind of drug related problem, and he'd come back for a little while and then he'd regress. Like, I remember in the 90s, you remember the show Ally McBeal? Kristen loved that fucking show. And
I remember it.
And one of the times he was recovering in the 90s, he went on that show and he was fucking great. Like, he played a great role, was doing really well, and then had a fucking relapse. They wrote him out of the show and he was, again, gone for a while because of his legal trouble. And I think he spent time in prison.
He did.
During all these years.
I know he did go into prison.
Yeah. And he'd always, find a way to come back. And this was sort of the...
Oh, you know what? This actually makes sense. So Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was that movie. His first portrayal of that came out in 2009.
Okay, so a year after this.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorites. Like, for Sherlock Holmes, I love that movie.
Yeah,
that
was him and Jude Law, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and his portrayal in that and the second one both are really. I just enjoyed them a lot. That's one of those, like, movies I can put on and I'll just, like, you know what? I feel like just watching something that I'm just going to enjoy. I know I'm going to enjoy, so I'm going to put that on.
Yeah.
And so I saw that. And then I had Robert Downey Jr. on the brain when I saw Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I'd already had the character, like the character he's playing as Sherlock Holmes is basically Tony Stark, just with a little, just Americanized.
Right.
You're not in fucking, 19th century fucking England.
Yeah. And I was reading a quote from Jon Favreau, actually. He wanted Robert Downey Jr. For the role specifically because of his troubled past, because he thought that that would play well into the character. And
Oh, sure it did.
again, it worked.
Yeah.
So, and, Jon Favreau had a small part in this as well. Also, we had Terrence Howard playing Rhodey, who got recast for the sequel and every other movie afterwards by Don Cheadle.
Yeah. And why?
I feel like it was some kind of like money compensation disagreement. But yeah, they brought in Don Cheadle, and then he became like, his own superhero, and which they hinted at it in this first movie.
Yeah, but I liked Terrence Howard. I liked I liked his portrayal of it, because honestly, like, there's a lot of parts of Iron Man. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. There's a lot of parts in this that, because it's very Air Force centric, that there's things that you can relate to and that you can very easily criticize, right? Or not criticize, but like can be critical of, and know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of war movies where, when there's Marines and shit like that, like, I can't really, I can speak knowledgeably to a lot of things, but not the specific everyday shit.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, when you're talking about Air Force shit, especially early in the fucking war, like it was, well, early, I mean, we'd been in there for a while, but you kind of know what's going on, right? And one of my favorite things is Terrence Howard, when he's like, no, I'm not drinking on duty. And then next thing you know, they turn the airplane into a goddamn
and he's like,
stripper pole.
Those guys that I know, they've all got my back.
He's leaned up on the fucking thing, and he's like drinking. It's just like, I just liked his portrayal of a fucking Air Force officer. I just thought, I thought that they did that part right. And I never saw that again. In subsequent movies, I never saw an accurate portrayal of the movie, of the military again.
Well, because
in any of these fucking movies.
At that point, they'd sort of gotten away from the story of Stark Industries and all that, and then it was just full on superhero stuff at that point,
right?
Dealing with Shield and all of that.
Right. Never mind like realistic type enemies and shit like that. Let's deal completely.
Before we go through any more of the cast, since you brought that up, this movie came out 3 years after Batman Begins, which Batman Begins I credit with the whole grounding superhero movie in reality, right? That was the first Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale Batman, where they really tried to like make it as realistic as possible while still being like a comic book movie. So, they grounded his suit and the vehicles and everything else in like kind of reality and made it like to where it could happen in the real world sort of thing.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, and I get that feeling from this movie too, and I almost feel like, I haven't read any quotes about it, but I almost feel like that kind of inspired this, as far as it, obviously you're getting a little bit more out there with the pseudoscience and stuff of this, but it seems like still overall it's still trying to be like a normal movie and not like your main villain, Jeff Bridges. It's not like some guy who fell into a vat of chemicals and now he's like a super villain with his powers and stuff. No,
he's just
he wants the fucking company, right?
He's a guy, he's a corporate entity. He's like, oh, this is where the money is, and I'm in a position of power, and he's exploiting it.
Yeah. So we had Jeff Bridges, like I said, Gwyneth Paltrow playing Pepper Potts, who she had some great quotes in this movie, by the way. So the guy who played the main terrorist bad guy, the leader of that 10 Rings group, I'm looking at him when they're in the cave in the beginning of this movie. I'm like, I fucking know that guy. I've seen him in another movie when he's like in this dark room or something. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then it fucking hit me. I'm like, oh, he was the captain at the beginning of the Star Trek reboot, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek from 2009.
Yeah.
Like, he was the guy who was with Chris Evans, Kirk's dad, who he after the Romulans attack him and he goes to the Romulan ship and he leaves Kirk's dad in charge. He was that captain who gets onto the Romulan ship and then they like immediately fucking kill him. That's who he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A very good callback.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that's a good callback. I completely missed that one. I thought you were gonna say he was one of the villains in fucking the Scorpion King or some shit.
No, no.
Like that would have been.
And so we've also got Paul Bettany doing the voice of Jarvis, who, Paul Bettany credits this movie as sort of bringing him back too. I guess he was having some problems before he did the voice of Jarvis in this movie, and then obviously that manifested into his role as Vision, the character, later on. I don't know if you know anything about that, but Jarvis eventually becomes the superhero Vision.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's played by Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany, as Star Wars fans, we know him as the Dryden Voss from Solo, which we're going to talk about next week. So
Jarvis becomes Vision?
Yes. Kind of. Essentially. I don't know. That's some weird shit that I couldn't 100% follow.
What?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I don't.
So
what?
One other member of the cast that caught my eye, but I couldn't pick him out in the movie, was Peter Billingsley, Ralphie from A Christmas Story. He was older, obviously, in this, but I didn't see him. He played William Ginter Riva. I'm like, I don't know.
Who the fuck is that?
I don't know. Like, I was looking for him as I was watching the movie this morning.
PC load letter.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a quick overview of the cast before we get into the movie itself. So I don't know how you want to do this. I've got a bunch of notes that I made on the movie.
Yeah. Start with your notes as per usual, because that usually is better.
Okay. Well, first of all,
because I didn't take notes.
Well, the music in this movie.
Oh, that's Sherlock. I'm wondering, none of these actors are in fucking Iron Man. What am I looking at?
Oh, you're looking at
Sherlock. And I'm looking at Sherlock's thing.
All right, yeah. So try to stay with us. The music in this movie I thought was fucking awesome because they use tracks like it starts off with Back in Black, dun, 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 and even the score throughout the movie. They play a lot of like hard rock songs throughout the movie, but even the score itself, when it's just music playing, is a lot of guitar and just kind of like a real heavy metal type feel.
Yeah.
And of course, the ending with the I Am Iron Man, obviously you got to play the Black Sabbath Iron Man with that.
Obviously.
But yeah, that's just something I noticed. It really bookends the movie with two pretty awesome hard rock songs, Back in Black and Iron Man.
Yep.
And of course, we're in Afghanistan. Fucking, we got airmen in their
ABUs.
Are they ABUs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's early in the war, right? So they're in ABUs and they still have Army ACU fucking camouflage on their black vests.
And of course, like these are all like airmen, like senior airmen in this truck, and they all seemed older. I'm like, oh, okay, suspend my disbelief a little bit.
They weren't that much older.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's that's not. All right, here's the stuff about this scene that gets me, right? The first one was, this is 2008. They be in an up armored Humvee. Yeah. Yeah. Even with a DV, like they be in an up armored Humvee. They just would be.
Yeah.
And the fact that this was just a regular fucking Humvee. Yeah. No. If they on convoy duty, right? Procedures went completely out the fucking window on convoy duty. Just like the sporadic, like emptying of the fucking Hummer to go and engage with the enemy from where exactly? Like they had no idea where it was coming. Like that whole bit was trash.
Yeah.
Really made the Air Force look bad, to be honest.
Well, what would you expect from a bunch of senior airmen or A1Cs, I should say?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of, dude, I don't know, when the war kicked off, right? I remember this from fucking in base housing because one of my neighbors was a kid in motor pool. Excuse me. And his first deployments were fucking doing convoy duty in motor pool. And, so they sent them through like this army training for doing convoy duty. So they had to fucking be able to ride their kit and do the whole fucking shoot match.
Damn.
To be able to go out and fucking, they're exposed and get with the IEDs and everything else.
Yeah.
So
the roadside bombs were big.
They were fucking airmen. E3s and E4s, man.
Wow.
And that's what they were doing. They were on fucking convoy duty because they're not going to have staff sergeants doing that. They needed staff sergeants to be doing other shit.
I guess.
So they're airmen just like infantrymen or fucking cannon fodder.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, just again, watching it just kind of brings me back to a lot of our our military days.
The ABUs fucking
in fucking Afghanistan.
Yep.
That's yeah. And of course, it's the perfect introduction to Tony Stark. Because the first thing we see is him holding his fucking drink glass, his fucking scotch or whatever, with the ice in it, and he's trying to hold it steady as they're fucking, in this Hummer just like blasting down the middle of the desert.
Yep.
And he's in his fucking suit, everybody else is in their gear. And in most situations, like even a DV would have had like a flak vest on or something, but nope, he's just got to be in his suit with his fucking drink.
Do you know, I'm just thinking about it. So I'm trying to think like, God damn, he had a lot of room back there. Have you ever been in the back seat of a Humvee?
I've driven one. I don't know if I've ridden in the back. Because when we learned how to drive them on base, remember we would like go out in fours and we'd rotate.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever.
You don't think you did that?
No, I don't think I ever went in the back.
Oh, yeah. Because like, again, we would go out in like fours, but there'd be one trainer and 3 students, and we just like keep rotating.
Yeah, I did the
like
trainer bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did the thing where like it was all of us, and we were going through these like real rough areas, and
I sat in the golf course and fucking.
I sat in the back of one of those, and there was not the kind of room that they show in this.
No,
I can tell you that much.
Yeah, they're
it's the movies.
Humvees, like spoiler alert, kids. Humvees do not have a lot of room in them.
Yeah,
I know when I was driving mine, it probably wasn't that bad for you, but I know for me, even I'm average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adult male average in the United States at 6 feet, and I can imagine with fucking gear, it would be even fucking worse.
Yeah, it'd be asses to elbows in there.
Like there's no room to move. The steering wheel's in my fucking chest.
Yeah,
with gear on, and it's cramped. It's just there's not a lot of fucking room in there.
Yeah, but that doesn't make for a good movie scene. So
no, they must have fucking. I don't know. I guess they probably maybe they took a like an H1,
or maybe that was a specialized one that he built for himself because he knew.
Why wouldn't you armor it better?
I don't know, Dave. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Because I don't know, early in the war they were doing shit like they put all the fucking sandbags around the doors and fucking on the bottom because there was no armor.
Yeah.
So they were taking these Humvees and they were putting sandbags all on the bottoms of them, so that if something happened, they'd fucking at least have something to absorb the impact. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, they're just chilling. He's like, making all of his quip remarks. And that's the thing. That's the great thing about this character and the way Robert Downey Jr. portrays him. He's so funny. He's so quick-witted. Like he's just got these one-liners that he's just rolling off, just like every single situation.
Yeah.
And it's all funny. It's all just good shit.
Just chilling with his drink in hand. And the best in a couple of scenes, we see how he got that drink.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that actually looks kind of familiar. Like I may or may not have a similar case.
I don't think it had the electronic things.
It did not. Well, it also wasn't self-refrigerated.
Right.
But,
Yeah. So, and yeah, it escalates very quickly into that fucking, when the convoy gets hit and like everybody's fucking dying. Tony Stark gets hit with some fucking shrapnel and the whole situation's fucked. And then we go to 36 hours earlier.
Destination fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we go right into a flashback where it's him, getting ready to do, well, first he's like receiving an award and then ready to do.
Well, he's supposed to receive an award.
Yeah. And something that I noticed right off the bat when they showed all these Stark Industry logos, I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy shit. That's the Lockheed Martin fucking logo. It's the same fucking font and the same fucking style as Lockheed Martin. I immediately Googled it. I'm like, there's no fucking way. And sure enough, they intentionally modeled the Stark Industries logo off of Lockheed Martin.
I'm surprised they got away with that.
Yeah, same. But Lockheed's, and see, that's the thing. I guess since we're talking about it, like, how much do you feel like this movie is sort of a has an anti-war profiteering message. Because I know we talked a lot of shit about The Last Jedi because they had those bits in it where it was not subtle at all. It was very in your face, like, oh, you know, military industrial complex type messaging in that. Now we're getting something similar in this, but I don't know. Do you feel like they're really trying to hammer this home? Like if they're really trying to make a point, or it's just sort of not as big of an aspect of this, I guess. Because this is 2008 Hollywood too, before they all lost their fucking minds.
Well, nice. And I can't make it from here. So here's the thing. This movie is about the company.
Yeah.
It's about the company and the kind of ebb and flow of what happens within the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Star Wars movie that decides to go off on a sidebar and bring this up and then come back to it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's kind of the whole premise of this movie is based around it. So it's not trying to do something that it was not intended to do.
Right.
Like the entire premise of this movie was like, all right, your weapons fell into the wrong hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's what started all this.
Which, come to find out, it was all intentionally done anyway.
Right. He was there. He was supposed to fucking. He was the target and blah 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 blah. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
But you know, as somebody who, you know, came from and still may make money from the military industrial complex, I didn't take this as an egregious like hit at what we do. So
yeah, no, honestly, I would agree. Like it didn't hit me that way when I was watching it.
Me either.
It was just different. Yeah. Like it was meant to, like, this is what this movie was meant to do. Like this is military procurement. This is the defense contractors. They go out like, dude, I've went. So you see this, you know, Stark goes out to this they're out in this range in Afghanistan. Why they're doing it actually in Afghanistan, that part we need to suspend our disbelief in a little bit.
There's plenty of places in the U.S. you could have done that.
We have tons of ranges that they could have fucking demonstrated this Jericho missile at.
Yeah.
But, and with more of an audience. But anyway, I've been to, it begins with an A and I can't think of it.
Alabama.
Aberdeen Proving Grounds. All right. It's just outside of Baltimore or Indianapolis area. And it's basically where they develop weapons for the Army. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, we actually did a scout field trip down to there, and they had a live fire demonstration where they went down, and the first thing they did was they took a fucking M1 Abrams. Now, this is the 80s. The M1 was brand fucking new.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know you're old? The M1A1 was brand fucking new, and they were racing a fucking Sherman tank with it. And they were showing how much faster the fucking M1 was than the fucking Sherman tank. Yeah. And it was killing it. And then they were showing like the stability of the gun system, and they were firing it and everything. It was fucking awesome. They had they pulled up 105s and they're firing 105s, so you get to like, it was for being a kid, and they had you know, colonels and generals and stuff there. They're all seeing all this stuff being demonstrated. They had a Bradley fighting vehicle, which they made a whole movie about the procurement of that, you know, in the 80s. Had a Bradley fighting vehicle pull up and fucking lit off his fucking cannon, and we got to pick up shells and keep shells from the Bradley when it went off. It was fucking great. And then they had Cobra helicopters come over, and they fucking firing. Dude, it was a great day. It was fucking awesome.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, this was commonly done, and it's not it wasn't strange to see it in the movie like this. It was strange to see it being done in Afghanistan because you wouldn't do that, but it was like the fact that they were having a demonstration like that, not that abnormal.
Sure. And sidebar on that also, whenever I think of like these military demos and stuff with the audience, where my head immediately goes, Short Circuit, the beginning of Short Circuit, when they've got the robots out there like destroying the enemy vehicles and all that. And, you've got all the military guys in the stands and everything watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
great movie.
They do that shit. Somehow you have to demo that shit.
Yeah.
Go to a trade show. How many trade shows have we been to where guys are selling shit, and you see in the movies, like it seems like people are walking up and I'm like, oh, they're selling this weapon at a stand in this fucking trade show. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. They do that shit. Yeah. Like you're going like, well, let me see this new fucking hotness. Like, yes, that absolutely happens. It 100% does.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's freedom for you. Anyway, so at some point while he's like fucking off this award that he was supposed to receive and all of this other stuff, this reporter comes up to him and is like hitting him with the hard questions about the weapons that he's making and all this other stuff. And he says something to the effect of I can't remember what he said to her, but he ended up nailing her that night. Like she was being like a total bitch to him.
Yep.
Seemed like very against him and everything he was doing.
Is that Veronica Vaughn? What else was she in?
The name of the actress?
No. She played Veronica Vaughn and no, that's not the same actress.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah. But anyway, he ends up nailing her.
Yeah.
And then we've got a great line from Gwyneth Paltrow the next morning after he fucking nailed that reporter, where she's like, "Oh, you're still doing all of his dry cleaning and everything," and she's like, her thing was like, "Yeah, I do this, do this, and occasionally I have to take out the trash,"
right.
And hands her stuff, and like there's a car waiting for you outside. It's like, ooh,
yes, yes,
got her.
That great burn, absolutely great burn.
Yeah. It was so good. And then it goes back to the weapon presentation, and then back to where he gets captured. And then we've got this must have been, it felt like a half an hour where he was in the fucking cave with that other guy.
Right.
Essentially, being held hostage to make more of the Jericho missiles for this terrorist group, this 10 Rings terrorist organization. And yeah, we just had this long sequence with him and this other guy, ultimately building his first.
Well, we got the imagery of him too with the interrogation,
mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, and then of course the battery basically connected to his fucking heart to keep the shrapnel from going in.
Well, before that, right? Because they had a flashback. It was either flashback or like he kind of came to. Mm-hmm. It was in a chair, and they were interrogating him.
Oh yeah, well they were
doing the video.
Yeah,
right?
They did the video with him, and then they said, "You'll make this," and he said, "Fuck off," and that's when they like dunked his head in the water,
right,
and all that other shit.
Which the fucking, like, again, survival school flashbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, all right, here's your propaganda video for you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like you're standing there with the guns to your fucking head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yes, this is. Welcome to the Illuminati. Here's your sign.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this.
However, that's going to be important later.
Yeah, and the whole basis for what eventually becomes the Iron Suit is like that electromagnet that the dude installed in his chest to keep the shrapnel from going into his heart. He creates a mini arc reactor to kind of replace the fucking car battery that it was hooked up to. And now that arc reactor is going to power the fucking suit that he builds to break out, while under the guise of, oh yeah, we're going to make these Jericho missiles for you.
Yeah. He's collecting palladium out of the missile tech.
Yeah.
And how dumb are these fucking guys? Like, they're watching every move that he's making.
Mm-hmm.
He's beating steel into shapes and putting it on his body.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Like, why are you not asking more questions earlier than this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just kind of like, this is the obvious shit.
Well, and again, it's
all right.
Yeah, it's a terrorist group in Afghanistan. They've never been accused of being intelligent.
Well, they had at least one smart guy.
Yeah.
Like he finally looked and he's noticed, like, wait a minute, it doesn't look like anything.
Mm-hmm.
and then it came in there and kind of roughed everybody up.
Yeah.
But
then it's like, we have to have it by tomorrow.
yeah,
Like, all right, it'll be done tomorrow.
yeah, it'll be all set tomorrow. Sure. Yeah. Do you see any missiles around? Like, how do you build a missile? Like, where's your?
Well, the crazy thing was they were watching him on video once, and he had the leg attachment, right? And he's extending the leg and retracting it, and you're seeing this other thing move, and you'd think that they would be looking at that and going, "What's with the leg thing?
Right.
Why are you doing that?"
Yes, like this. It just, I'm watching that, and yeah, there is language barriers and shit like that. Sure, I get all that, but you're watching this happen.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like, what are they saying? No, you're watching this fucking dude basically put on a bionic leg.
Yeah.
You need that to launch the satellite or the missile? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But of course, he eventually finishes the suit, this big, just hulking fucking suit that's nothing like what he eventually makes for himself. But it's pretty badass looking as he's like breaking out, and this whole fucking breakout sequence.
Could you imagine? So, you ever been shot with a paintball?
Oh yeah, stings like hell.
Right. So, imagine the impact of a bullet onto that steel with you in it. And the vibrating that would happen.
Vibrating, stinging, probably some heat.
Just, there would be incapacitating. Like, just the amount of, just the impact vibration alone. Like, those welds.
Hey, this is Tony fucking Stark we're talking about. He probably put in some sort of, shock absorbers in there, some stabilizers.
So, Smirking Bear Studio says the obvious thing to Dave. Don't think hard into it. It's a superhero movie. Therein lies the problem, Smirking Bear. I can't not do that because we're looking at something that's fairly realistic looking.
Right. Yeah.
Up to this point.
Going back to the whole Batman Begins discussion.
Right. It's like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff. And then, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, there's just little elements of fuckery.
Yeah.
Like, what the arc reactor. Okay. Like, why do you need an electromagnet to keep fucking shrapnel out of your blood? Like, what? That's
right.
Like, what kind of doctor are you? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And again, it's just one of those things you got to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit. But getting back to the breakout, awesome fucking scene where he's breaking out. He's like beating the shit out of people with his fucking arms, but also he's having issues. Like he gets his arm stuck in the fucking wall once, and you can tell he's kind of getting used to moving in the fucking thing. But he's got the flamethrowers on it, and it does have the flight mode capability, but it's all very crude compared to where the suit eventually evolves. But it was a fucking sweet ass scene where he just like killed almost all of the terrorists.
Right.
Left the main bad guy dead or alive.
Yeah. Well, he didn't know that.
Right.
Just maimed him, apparently.
Yeah, fucking bashing his fucking side of his face.
End up killing the guy that fucking, saved his life.
Yeah, naturally. You knew that guy was gonna fucking bite it.
Right.
You knew there was no way he was making it out.
I'm gonna go buy you more time. All right, bye.
Yeah.
I know you're not coming back, so you can either stay behind me in my giant metal suit and probably live. Yeah. Or you can go die. That's fine.
Yeah. But again,
no, don't.
Oh no.
No.
Anyway, so he gets out. He eventually gets found by the fucking military, and just so happens Rhodey's there in that fucking helicopter that finds him randomly wandering in the middle of the fucking desert. Yeah, right.
No, sidebar.
Okay.
All right. So Smirking Bear talks about, I guess in the MCU's in the quantum realm, multiverse, and time travel, all this stuff.
Correct.
So I'm in the middle of reading. It's Stephen Hawking's last theory before he passed. And it's what the fuck is the name of the book, Dave? I don't know, Dave. Somebody tell me what it is, or I'll look it up. I'll look at my phone.
Well, why don't you tell me what it's about?
Well, it's what it's about is, are you familiar with the brief history of time?
Yes.
So
I tried reading that once.
yeah, how'd it go?
Couldn't get into it.
So this is called On the Origin of Time, Stephen Hawking's final theory, right? It's written by Thomas Hertog, who, to me, to Dave, who's only a fucking, grad student, it reeks of somebody who's taking advantage of Stephen Hawking's name.
Oh, really?
After passing. But I don't know. That's just me. He talks about there. I have an issue. Like I need people to read this book. I need people that I know to read this book. And and I say that because I need to have like a legitimate sit down philosophical debate about what Hawking and Hertog's fucking actual theory is. Because
what are they saying?
Basically, all right. So in this theory, it's they're calling it a top-down look at the cosmos, right? So it's a completely new look at cosmology.
Okay.
And what its implications is that instead of a multiverse, right, your existence is I'm trying to describe it in a way that makes sense in a short period of time. So forgive me.
Sure.
But everything exists all at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this quantum theory, right, our existence and whatever decision we make, there's a million different decisions that we can make in any given time, right?
Sure.
So you make your choice or you have a particular interaction, and then now that interaction now has an effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that choice and effect makes this like triad. Their contention is that the actual like choice, like that, okay, since you are making a choice in order to affect that you are somehow part of that equation, that the human element is somehow part of the equation of the physical element. The fact that this quantum existence, like that singular decision that is made, if it's not observed is the right word. If it's not observed, and then there's an effect, that observation having occurred, like if you don't observe it, then it doesn't happen.
Sure. Yeah. So
it's like Schrodinger's cat, but it like applied to everything. And I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. The idea that I have to observe something, or that like some human has to observe something in order for it to be in existence, is to me just absurd.
I mean, God, we could have a long discussion.
Yeah, I know.
About that,
I know. And I'm almost done this book, and it's been on my mind a lot, and I'm oversimplifying it for just to bring it up.
Well, it ultimately goes down to if a tree falls in the woods, nobody's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound.
It's closer to Schrodinger's cat, right? So for those I'm just going to say what Schrodinger's cat is. It's as it was described, basically you have a cat, it's in a box that was alive when it went into the box, but it's next to a piece of radioactive material that either you can is going to kill the cat by being exposed to it in a prolonged amount of time, or it's going to die if you open the box, right? So what's actually going to kill the cat? You're not going to know, right? Because you're going to open the box and the cat's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, more people read this book, because I need to be able to fucking Sidebar Nerd Book Club. Absolutely. Join our Discord channel. There's a fucking what we were reading type thing, and I need tangential nerdness to fucking help me get through this, because I'm going to have to reread that first book, but it's bugging me. It really is. It's bugging me. And I don't, what the fuck do I know? I have a shitty BS in fucking aeronautics, and working on a master's in human factors. I mean, I know a little bit. I'm not a fucking physicist, and I'm not a cosmologist, obviously, but just this idea, it just bothers me. Anyway.
So,
what were we talking about?
So Tony Stark then has a press conference where he says he's no longer making weapons because he found that they were being used by the bad guys, blah, blah, blah. So one of the notes that I wrote in here is there was a point where he came back up to Rhodey when he was with a bunch of other airmen, and he made a transgender joke, basically, about him, thinking he was with a woman and then waking up next to a man kind of thing. And
right.
I'm just like, oof. I don't know if that would fly today.
It wouldn't.
Ask Dave Chappelle.
It wouldn't. It absolutely wouldn't.
Which, I mean, and honestly, I'm shocked they kept it on Disney Plus. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. And we go through this whole sequence now where after he's back in the real world, he's decided that he's going to make this fucking suit for real, like a good version. And his very first fucking flight test was hilarious because he's sitting there and he's like, okay, and go, and boom, it just shoots him right against the fucking wall, just
and then the fucking
and then the fire extinguisher robot.
Yeah. What's the name of that robot? It looks like a robotic arm from fucking, an auto line.
Right.
Like from building cars.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And yeah, I loved all of the effects as he was designing and building the suit. I love the holographic computer effects, even though they're not real. It looks cool.
It does, dude. And look, for 2008, we were, I think,
and that's the thing too.
It was good. It looked good for 2008,
and
it was pretty seamless.
Yeah, I made note of it. The fact that the effects hold up to today, and I know we're only talking 15 years, but a lot's fucking changed.
A lot has changed in 15 years.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of movies that don't hold up on their effects from 15 years ago.
But this one still holds up just fine today. No issues whatsoever. He did the altitude test after he had built the suit, and he fucking told Jarvis, fuck it, let's go.
Right.
And Jarvis, or he asked Jarvis what's the highest altitude anybody's ever been up to? And there was a really cool detail in that because it's showing his HUD right as he's flying up into the fucking clouds, and Jarvis is 82,000 feet or whatever, and you see, he didn't say it, but you see an SR-71 in the bottom right in his HUD. So just a nice little nice little detail in there that the aviation nerds probably picked up on.
Yeah, but the aviation nerds were also screaming no.
Yeah.
There was so much head shaking and knowing at this point that no.
Yeah, that the display that Pepper makes for him of his old fucking heart thing, the one where proof that Tony Stark has a heart, a coworker of mine actually has a replica of that.
Oh, no shit.
Exactly the way it shows up in this movie.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's that same glass box with the fucking reactor in his chest, and it's engraved proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it just shows you what kind of nerds I work around. We get a cool cameo of Stan Lee as Hugh Hefner when Tony shows up to a party.
Right. Here's your. Is this? I mean, this is the beginning, right? This is the beginning of Stan Lee's.
Oh yeah, his cameos.
His cameos.
Yeah, I think he was in the Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans.
Oh yeah,
I feel like he made a cameo in those, but those weren't technically MCU movies. Well, I guess now they are, but whatever. But yeah, no, and they made a point to put him in every single Marvel cinematic movie from here on out. in some kind of cameo. This is the point where we get into the whole love story between Tony and Pepper Potts, which is weird that she would be that interested in him, considering she's watched him probably fuck hundreds of women throughout the years,
Right?
Hundreds, if not thousands of women. Because, you know, even that discussion they had at the beginning where it's like, oh, is it true that you were with all 12 Maxim girls last year?
Right.
Yeah.
Remember when Maxim was a thing?
I do.
That was like, does that still exist?
I doubt it. Great fucking magazine, by the way.
It was.
I loved it.
That was, I mean, that was huge.
Yeah. You'd have like new technology and hot women.
Right.
Where's the problem?
What happened to Maxim?
I remember when what's her name from G4 did a spread on Maxim, and I was like, ooh, Morgan Webb.
Morgan Webb. Yes.
Yeah, she did a hell of a spread on Maxim once.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. Maxim was where the ladies who wanted to kind of be a little hoary but didn't want to go nude, they did the Maxim things instead of like Playboy.
Oh, remember, that's where old girl from fucking Old School.
Yeah.
The teenager that he slept with.
Yeah, the blonde. Yeah.
Yeah. She was in Maxim right after that.
Yeah. Good times.
Whatever happened to Maxim?
I don't know. Is it like, did they convert to a website like a lot of defunct magazines did?
How bad is it that we don't know if magazines are a thing anymore?
I mean, they've been pushed into obsolescence essentially by the internet.
Oh, sidebarring from that sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
When we were looking up something for Robert Downey Jr. earlier,
Mm-hmm.
like I typed RO and Robert Downey Jr. popped up in my Google thing.
Yeah, the bots are listening.
Oh yeah, it was just so funny, and I just typed in Maxim. And
Oh,
Maxim magazine is still published.
sidebar.
Yeah.
Did you hear Microsoft is starting to develop AI co-pilots for planes? Fucking Skynet, man, it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, that. I'm sure you've got a million things to say about that, and you've spent your sidebar currency already for this episode.
There's no such thing as AI. AI is by definition sentience.
Okay,
We're not there yet.
all right, fair enough.
People just need to stop using it.
All right, were you looking something up, or can I continue?
Go. Maxim
All right.
apparently is still a thing.
Oh, good. Do they actually produce magazines?
How many issues are magazines? Yeah. Yes.
You would think 12 a year.
Yeah.
No shit. Huh. All right. God, I wonder
9 million readers each month.
I wonder if they have those things, because I do see where a lot of magazines will sell like $100 for like every archived version of the magazine in PDF format. I wonder if Maxim does that.
I don't know.
Go back and get that Morgan Webb issue and what's her name?
Probably don't need to work that hard. You probably just Google the images and they'll probably pop up.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, nostalgia. So we find out eventually that Jeff Bridges' character Obadiah, weird name, is like the true bad guy of all this, right?
Right.
Because we find out he's the one who trafficked all the weapons to the fucking terrorists. He hired them to off Tony Stark, as basically he was just trying to take over the company, right? So this is all revealed. He goes and he fucking he murders all of the 10 Rings guys after he gets Tony's old suit because they dig it up from the desert. So now he's going to use that to make his new suit to fight Tony at the end. And it's just like typical superhero affair from here on out. It's, big battle with the villain at the end.
Right.
Good stuff. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained throughout all of this. And
Yeah. No, it was definitely, dude, it was entertaining.
yeah, and then we also get Agent Coulson from S.H.I.E.L.D. make several appearances throughout the movie, and he becomes a bigger player in the greater MCU as well as S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of that. But
Yeah, he keeps popping up for like, oh, we have to debrief.
yeah, Tony.
Like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Which again, he says it right off the bat, like it's the something for
right.
Homeland Defense, and I'm sure all of the comic book people who knew what S.H.I.E.L.D. was would probably like, oh, like they're the Leo meme,
Right.
pointing at the TV. Whereas for me, that meant nothing to me the first time I watched it.
Yeah,
So-
first time I watched it didn't mean anything.
Right. But then now watching it now, having seen most of the MCU movies, I'm like, okay, that was a nice little nod that they did there. Anything else about the rest of the movie before we get to the credits? I did love the end when he just fucking came out and just said, no, I am Iron Man. So because, Coulson wanted him to do the whole, secret identity superhero thing. And he just comes out of the press conference like, no, it's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a nice
Tony
change.
Stark. Yeah, it's Tony Stark. So that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Like, again, this movie existing by itself, 100%. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Like, because realistically, how could you maintain that secret?
Right.
Honestly.
Right. It's the whole Bruce Wayne is Batman thing.
Yeah.
He's basically Marvel's version of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. And this, I mean, there's like a couple of fucking things that happen that, again, you have to shake your head, like the fucking instance when he's testing, when he goes in the suit and he fucking takes out that F-22.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then the whole ejection seat sequence.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's not how ejection seats work.
My parachute's jammed.
That's not, dude. Like, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Again,
come on, buddy. Just like, stop it.
Despite being an Air Force guy for 26 years, I still am able to not nitpick as hard with that kind of stuff.
You are not a big enough airplane nerd.
Apparently not.
For it to bother you.
Right.
You would be. I am apparently an anomaly when it comes to like being an airplane nerd in the Air Force.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how this is possible. Like, I get it if you're in fucking finance, but if you're fucking an aviator, like, and you're not into airplanes, like, I fucking work next to the guy. He was a loadmaster in fucking 130s. He's like, I don't know.
For some people, it's just a job, man.
It's fucking
it's
crazy.
It's not an obsession.
It's fucking crazy. I don't get it.
So anyway, let's finish off the movie because I'm sure we've got some other stuff we got to get to.
Flying suits.
Yes. The post-credit scene.
Okay.
This is the big thing that broke the whole Marvel universe open, essentially, is the first post-credit scene at the end of this movie where he comes home and there is Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson in his living room as Nick Fury, who, again, at the time, I didn't know who this fucking guy was, but the Marvel people all knew. The head of S.H.I.E.L.D., who says he wants to talk to Tony about the Avengers Initiative. And he mentioned, like, oh, you think you're the only superhero out there? Let me talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. Everybody knows who the Avengers are. Boom. Done. So that was what started everything that we have now, was this one little cameo and this one little line that he had. And now all of a sudden, this fall, the 33rd movie in this Marvel Cinematic Universe is coming out with the Marvels. That is the 33rd movie in this series in 15 years. And they all have at least some links to each other.
So I'm going to bring up, I want to look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? I want to look at all of the, so if this was the first, the Disney buyout was when?
A year and a half later at the end of 2009.
Jesus Christ, this started in 1945. All right. So
what are you looking for exactly?
So Iron Man 2 was the next one.
Yep.
Then they had Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
Thor, the Avengers, Iron Man 3, which is this. So there it is. I saw Iron Man, right?
Obviously.
Saw Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Hulk and hated it.
Yeah, that version. None of the independent Hulk movies have been that good.
Yeah.
But the Hulk character in the Avengers movies has been great.
Yeah. I watched Thor because Natalie Portman was in it.
Yeah.
And it had like humor in it, which I thought was decent.
Yeah.
The Avengers was okay. I wasn't lost yet. And then Iron Man 3, I'm like, I'm done with it. And I didn't watch another one until Guardians. Like, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy. And I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I thought I enjoyed that. And then I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And then the next thing I saw was Civil War.
Which, yeah, we saw that together.
Yeah. And then the next thing I saw was
Have you seen anything since then?
no.
Okay.
I have not. So I want to see the new Guardians. I want to see the latest Guardians movie.
It was fun. I liked it.
That's like on my. I haven't seen Endgame all the way through.
It's a long movie.
Yeah, I
And
just,
especially if you're not into the superhero stuff.
yeah,
but-
it's not. It's just there's not. Yeah, I was in. Iron Man 3 was a weak point. And I'm not saying it was the one movie that turned me off to it, but there was like, okay, there's going to be a lot more of these, and it's like I don't need to see this. All right, I don't need to see this one either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, I don't give a shit about that guy. I don't give a shit about that guy. Oh, that guy's gonna get his own movie. Like, it's just like stop. I just got to a point where I was, all right, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that, right? I like what I like, and I'm sure there's good parts to all of these. I'm sure if I sat down and watched, like, people say good things about Ant-Man, I just conceptually I don't want to watch it.
Sure.
I mean, it's Paul Rudd. Everything Paul Rudd does seems to be good, but I don't care to watch it.
Right. And none of this stuff was for everybody, but they went through a period of time, starting with like the Avengers movies, even with this first Iron Man, but like going through the first Avengers movies where just like they had so much momentum and they had so many people going to the theaters to see these movies.
Right.
It was just like, well, fucking just more and more, crank out more and crank out more. And now we're getting to the point where there might be some superhero fatigue going on.
Might.
Well,
I mean, might be some.
It really depends, and I think the Marvels this fall is going to be a good test as to whether or not it's truly set in. Because Ant-Man didn't do great, but Guardians did. So how's the Marvels going to do? And now it might just be kind of like where some movies just randomly don't perform well, and even Kevin Feige and Disney are saying that we're going to start pulling back a little bit on this. Because like everything with Disney that we talked about at the top of the show, they kind of went a little bit too big, and because of COVID and other things, the money started to drain, and now they got to pull back quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
And that's happening with Marvel as well.
Yeah, I was looking at. I'm like, where's the Captain America stuff in here? Like, I don't really see it.
Now, the Captain America stuff, I think, was interesting because they really started going in a cool direction with that. I did not like the first Captain America movie. I thought it was fucking boring as shit. But starting with the Winter Soldier, they really started doing some good stuff with the Captain America storyline.
I liked Captain America in what was the one in Civil War.
Yeah.
I liked Captain America in Civil War.
Yeah.
I thought Civil War was fun. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a fun, like, there was a lot of just goofy shit. It was a popcorn movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, because
I had
this
no
is like
expectations going into it.
Yeah, this is the first time you've got like two groups of superheroes like fighting
Right.
each other.
That airport scene with the fucking just throwing shit around. It just there was a lot to like. Again, this is the type of thing that should have like brought me back into it, but no,
Yeah.
didn't.
No.
I can enjoy one fucking movie, and look, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't have to like it.
Yeah. But, and again, I think like, so you've got this bigger picture, the 33 fucking Marvel movies and more in production. But if you cut all of those out, if you cut those last 32 out and you just look at Iron Man as a whole, great fucking movie just by itself.
Yeah.
Like this should have been a blueprint for how you do a good superhero origin movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. So did we talk enough about the Disney buyout of Marvel affecting the overall? quality of that storytelling.
Well, because the two subsequent Iron Man movies were not nearly as well regarded, and I don't know if they made more money either than the first Iron Man.
Oh, I'm sure it had an Iron Man 2, rebound.
Yeah, well,
effect.
Iron Man 2 was the introduction of Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow also. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously Disney buying out Marvel is what made the Marvel Cinematic Universe, be able to happen the way that it did. So just from a pure money making standpoint, yeah, that was great for them. But did it hurt the quality of just the Iron Man franchise alone? Probably.
Yeah, I wonder if it has the same issues that Star Wars ends up having with, okay, we're ringing this out. Does the writing suffer?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, it could very well be. But either way, really enjoyed rewatching Iron Man. Again, this was the second time I'd ever seen it, and it was thoroughly entertaining. Really, really enjoyed it. Glad we did this.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah. So next week, I think we hinted at it earlier in the episode, we are going back to Solo, because Solo, the Star Wars movie, is 5 years old. It just turned 5 years old, which is crazy to think. Because we saw that together. That was the year that I was out of the state for most of the year, where we were doing all of our episodes remotely. But I did come home on leave for a brief period of time, and we saw Solo during that.
I don't know what's crazier, the fact that Solo was 5 years ago, or that 5 years ago we were still doing the pod.
That is true. Yeah. Huh.
Because we were talking today, in our I'm going to say something really, professional sounding, in our pre-production meeting.
Yeah.
We were talking about our 300th episode coming up.
Yep.
And, we've been doing it we just had our 6 year.
Yep. Just past 6 years.
6 years. 300 episodes. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Yet we're still evolving. Still having new things pop up, new regular segments, things that manifest.
Yeah.
Third members of the crew, so to speak.
At some point. Maybe.
Yeah. So while you're doing your thing over there, any final thoughts on Iron Man before?
Oh shit, that's why. No, I would say that this is. I enjoyed having Air Force. I enjoyed having the Air Force be the primary in it.
Yeah.
All right, this is an Air Force military movie.
Yep.
However inaccurate it might be.
Yep.
I think there was one scene where I was looking at an officer that had enlisted U.S. insignia.
Oh no.
Or is it the vice versa?
Yeah, no, because the enlisted have the circle around. I know exactly which scene you're talking about because I looked at his U.S. symbols and it didn't have anything around it. That's what the officers wear now.
I know.
Was it an enlisted person that had it?
Yeah, it looked wrong for some reason.
I don't know.
I should have wrote it down.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's shit like that. I enjoyed the Air Force being one of them. However accurate it may or may not be. Yeah. Oh, my dear.
Oh, Lunar Girl brought up a good point in the chat, too. Something we should talk about next week when we take the look back at Solo is talking about, would we want a sequel? What would a sequel look like for that?
Oh,
so
we'll definitely be talking about that.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess our guest is ready, right?
Just again.
Yeah. So, Miss Lopez. Hey! Oh, did you look a little fresh today. Did you have some work done or something?
No.
Okay. They're not new eyes? Maybe it's just because I haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
What's all this then?
Oh, these are my Black Series figures. I can move these.
Yeah,
get them out of your way.
I can't even get to my microphone.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I got a lot this week, so
yeah, I
taking
see
up
that.
a lot of space. There you go. All right, there's your mic.
Oh yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Do I sound louder now that I'm closer?
Yes, yes, you do. There you go.
Ah, that's better.
All right. Can they still see you? Yes, yes, they can still see you on screen.
Right. So what's going on?
Oh, the usual. Finally getting back to our rhythm. I hear there's been a lot more shit talking about you in some of the Red 5 shows.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Do you know who's been paying a lot of attention to that?
Who?
Not me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, not me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's it.
So, yeah, talk all the shit you want, cause, yeah, not gonna work here anymore.
All right, fair enough.
So should I do the reads?
You should do the reads.
I should do the reads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I should do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I got a frog in my throat.
Yeah.
So in Red 5 happenings, there's nothing happening. The Red 5 network has 28 active podcasts and 7 archive pods for a grand total of 35.
I'm 37?
Plus 2. Check out bio.link/Red 5. That's bio.link/Red Single to browse the lineup. What am I looking at? The screen's like this. The microphone's here. There's so much continuity error. It's like a Marvel movie with all the continuity errors here.
Should we rearrange things for you next week?
I don't know. No, it's fine. I'll figure it out.
All right.
I need a teleprompter. I need my own camera. That's what I need.
Don't you have a teleprompter, right?
Yeah, but it's not facing the right way. If I had a teleprompter right in front of the camera,
Oh, yeah.
then I could just stare right at people.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love that.
That's how people get their screenshots. Got to give them plenty of opportunity.
Oh, right. The paparazzi, they need their shots.
Fuck off! Anyway, I already the shoulder's so sore. Bio.link/Red Cinco to browse the lineup. There's something for everyone in the Red 5 network. Did I miss something? Nope, I didn't.
Feels like you just skipped to the end, but
Cantina Family Happenings on Tuesday. Luna Girl isn't sure if Use and Abuse will be live streaming because no one has told her anything. But if they do, catch Scott, Kim, and Nicole tomorrow at 2000 8 p.m. on the YouTubes.
I like how she kind of passively aggressively used
Right.
these notes to
Right.
like say, "Hey, you haven't told me a subject."
Like I'm your mouthpiece for this.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. People seem to not like that. I need to use less tape. Think you can notice that on camera?
Yeah, well, on camera, no, but I can see it.
Yeah.
Looking at you, I can see you.
Yeah.
You've got some extra.
What if I got closer to you? Would you notice it better?
No,
No?
there wouldn't be any
No?
difference. Nope,
You sure?
I'm sure.
What if I got closer?
I'd rather you not.
Closer.
I've got a personal space thing going on here.
Closer.
Oh God. I feel so awkward.
Hi, Jason.
Hello.
Don't you miss me?
I miss you being over there on that side of the table.
Oh, come on. This is where my camera should be. It's because you're right here.
Oh God.
Right
no.
above the Mr. Roscombe, right here on the screen here.
No, please God, no. No.
Right below Star Killer, and right above Mr. Roscombe.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Oh, all right, fine. Anyway, Use and Abuse just had their 200th episode.
Fuck, already?
The other day.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Remember?
That's right. They wanted us to be on it, and you.
Right, Dave
heard-
fucked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yep.
Wednesday, the ATSW, the Escape Hub, were reviewing the movie. Reviewing the movie, Bullet Train. Oh, what is this you say? I don't know.
Are you okay?
No, obviously not. There's nothing okay about any of this.
No, there's really not.
ATSW Escape Pod reviewing the movie Bullet Train. But first they spend a half-hour shit-talking Hennifer, LG, Backyard TARDIS, and Shanti, who broke the charm and is once again supporting Hennifer. Again, passive-aggressive mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a good thing she's not married to one of the Escape Pod guys.
I know, right?
Oh, wait! That's gotta be fun. Check out Don, Brady, and Dragon Buddy, and their fake news on Wednesday. Yeah. Wednesday on YouTube at 19:05, 7:05 Eastern. Hashtag justice for Hennifer. Hashtag Dave is fine. Nah. Fine is relative.
Yeah.
Tales from the Bounty Board returns Friday after a week of mourning for Kark. Rest in peace, Kark? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't know.
Watch Tina, Shanti, and Luna Girl roleplay as they... Ooh, yeah, roleplay. as they try to break Dungeon Master Aaron, Aaron, with all their shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
They go live at Red 5 Tavern on Monday night, 2100, 9 p.m. Eastern on the YouTubes. Aaron and Shanti, Luna Girl, and Tina doing some roleplay. Yeah. Yeah, it's good, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm Swedish, yeah. Work, bark, bark. This is the kind of like it's almost. I'm not hot, but you know how when it gets hot in here and I start losing my mind.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's getting a little warm.
It's not that hot though. I shouldn't be losing it like this.
Yeah.
Layman's Terms released Happy Goth Day. Why I didn't go goth on YouTube last week, and is going to be a special guest on Pop My Culture this Saturday. Please give him a sub on YouTube for your primary source of ignorance and drunken banter. And you will do it. The Orange and Fett Show. Orange and Fett Show released episode 78, Transformers, this past Friday. Find their podcast exclusively on the Spotify. And thanks for supporting our show. Thank you. You ready?
Yeah.
You can find us at bio.link/the Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, our audio podcasts on Apple, Audible, Spotify, and all social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Discord, and TikTok. When's the last time we were on Twitch?
It's been a long time.
Fuck, we need to do some gaming.
Yeah.
We can also find all of our Spotify mixtape playlists, which have been updated. Thank you, Luna Girl.
That's right.
That's right! We need that drop. Also in our bio link is our T-Published merch shop. We have our F Cancer and Jason Rose designs, the super sexy Twi'lek sidebar chick, our beloved Hennifer, that's me, which Brady Big Lovin' has been wearing lovingly for the past few weeks in his live streams. Thank you, Brady. You know you love me. Taco flavored kisses. You can also find our classic Sidebar Cantina logo, 2 throwback designs from a Gen X point of view. There are t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers, pins, wall art magnets, notebook laptop cases, pillows!
Yeah, it's over there.
He's back there, doing his thing. Stickiness and all. It's a fuck pillow. Just about anything you can imagine. Make sure you tag us on the socials with your Sidebar merch. You ready?
I am ready.
Reviews!
No new reviews.
Well, we got a new patron this week.
Yeah. So that's something.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to leave reviews?
I don't know. Apparently
Why is
it's
it
very
so hard for people to click the fucking thumbs up on a YouTube video?
I don't know.
I'm not saying it's our people, because our people are great, but the motherfuckers. Like, you get all the views, and it's like the popular people that I watch too. Like, I could be watching like Adam Savage Tested, and it's like, oh, it's 500,000 views, but only 13,000 thumbs up. I know more than 13,000 of you fuckers like that video.
Yep.
What's so hard about clicking the fucking thumbs up? Lazy fucks. How about you rate a review too? I'm having a Dave moment.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Click the like button. God damn it. Reviews. There's no reviews, so fuck me. Don't have a review. No, of course I don't. Don't have an Apple or Audible account. Blech. Our Facebook page has a review feature too. Just screenshot your review. Where are you going?
Nothing.
It's very distracting.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
See? You always stop when I do something. Just screenshot your review before you hit done and DM us a pic on Instagram or Twitter. This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on our show. Jennifer Lopez, me, Hank, Edith, or Mama, or somebody fun will read your review word for word on our next episode. If you're listening to us on audio.
Fuck. Sorry, forgot to take my pill. God damn it. I meant to do it like half an hour ago.
If you're listening to us on audio, never mind the clicking.
Yeah. God damn it.
Please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. And if you're new to the sidebar, please subscribe, ding that bell, select all. And remember to receive and to receive the notifications when we go live. Remember to hit that like button. Like I said, it really helps us out. And that's it. That's it for the reads.
All right. You know, I had a thought before you leave.
Oh, yeah?
So we're having this big sidebar get together.
Yeah,
And I know for a fact that everybody's going to want to see you.
of course.
So we got to figure out in what capacity you're going to be able to join us for the sidebar get together. Because it's going to have to be like a cameo appearance. You're obviously not going to be able to be there all day.
Well, yeah.
So
I only work at like 15-minute shots, dude.
yeah, maybe you can have a quick interview with some of the people.
Yeah,
over there.
maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Or do it. Yeah, made something.
Yeah, but I know you're going to have to make an appearance, so be ready for that.
More
August.
than 15 minutes?
Potentially. I mean, I don't know.
That's going to cost extra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, better pony up, dude.
All right, we'll figure it out.
It's a lot of taco flavored kisses.
We'll take it out of the Patreon money.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Miss Lopez, and we'll see you next week.
Bye! Stop talking shit, fuckers. Bye.
All right. You know what I realized? Oh,
What's that?
are you back? So
What? Hello? Hello?
next month we're doing 2 more superhero movies on the show. Like we never did superhero stuff, and now all of a sudden we've got like 3 in 4 weeks.
Well, we're just getting it out of our system, Jason.
Yeah, so eat this up, people, because you're not going to see this very often on the show. But yeah, we talked about Solo we're doing next week. In 2 weeks, we're going to talk about Batman 1989, the original Michael Keaton, as we're getting geared up for The Flash, which we're going to talk about the week after. So a lot of superhero movies in our future.
Yeah.
So good times.
But, you know, OG Batman is fucking
Yeah.
worth talking about.
Yeah.
Anytime you can talk about it. I'm sure nobody can hear that crinkling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking right. All right, but that's the end of the
I
show.
missed it again.
You all right?
No, I'm the worst. Fucking, I used to be able to do things.
Yeah. I say that a lot. All right. Well, that's the end of the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching on YouTube. Thank you to all of our audio listeners. Thank you to Dave for giving the audio listeners something to listen to every week, as he has done a fine job of taking over the audio posting. That being said, anything else before we close?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, again. We love you. And until next time, Dave and everybody else, go fuck yourself.
Okay, now what do I click?
That was kind of like half
It was
Dave, half
deep,
half Dave and half Lois.
Okay, now what do I click? It's Lois, like when they're trying to hide her voice because she's doing like a
Yeah,
she's
like
a
a
witness protection thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now what do I click?
Good stuff.
All right.
Yes. Are we clicking off?
Yeah, we're done.
All right.
Bye,
Goodbye,
guys.
everyone. We will see you soon.
Yes.
Bye.